Governor Fubara said the budget was designed to consolidate the gains of his administration in infrastructure development, human capital advancement, security and economic growth, while ensuring fiscal discipline and accountability in the management of public resources. He attributed the state's fiscal stability to prudent financial management, transparency, and a commitment to responsible governance. According to him, the proposed budget projects a total revenue of 1.854 trillion, representing a 24.49% increase over the 2025 adjusted budget. Governor Fubara noted that the projected revenue is expected to come from internally generated revenue (IGR), Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAAC), receipts, derivation funds, grants, loans, asset sales, and opening balances.
As part of efforts to improve the quality of basic education across Nigeria, the Universal Basic Education Commission (UBEC) has facilitated the mobilization of more than 100 billion naira in previously unaccessed matching grants by states and Federal Capital Territory (FCT). UBEC's Executive Secretary Ajia Aisha Garuba announced this in Abuja. Ajia Garuba said the blueprint, which aligns with the federal government's renewed hope agenda, is focused on delivering measurable results through improved school infrastructure, teacher development, and expanded access to quality education. According to her, the funds mobilized are already being invested in improving learning environments nationwide through partnerships with State Universal Basic Education Boards, SUBEBs. She said the intervention has led to the construction of more than 4,600 classrooms, the renovation of over 6,100 classrooms, the provision of 2,780 toilets and 678 boreholes, as well as the supply of more than 334,000 pieces of school furniture across the country. The UBEC boss added that the commission had also supported the establishment of over 2,300 early childhood care development and education centers to provide a strong educational foundation for young learners.
Federation of Muslim Women's Associations in Nigeria, Form 1, Oyo State Chapter, has continued its week-long activities for its 40th anniversary by visiting orphanages, homes, and various care centers in Ibadan metropolis, where foodstuffs, toiletries, confectionaries, writing materials, and other essential items were donated to the centers. Some of the places reached out to included Suez Center for Disabled, Olorun Daba, Cheshire Homes, Poly Road, Songo, Ibadan Home for Motherless Babies, Omalewa Street, UCH, and Agbomojo Homes, Ibadan. Others are Wolash, Ring Road, Ibadan, Galilee Foundation, and Living World Home, Ibadan. Speaking at the various centers, Amira, Form 1, Oyo State, Dr. Latifa Dairo, emphasized that the 40th anniversary was not just a time for celebration, but also an opportunity to further give back to the society, reflecting Islamic values of charity, kindness, and caring for the less privileged, irrespective of religious, tribe, or age. While responding, one of the founders of the homes visited, and former Amira, Form 1, Oyo State, Alhaja Sekinat Adekola, expressed their gratitude to the leadership of the association for putting smiles on the faces of the less privileged, particularly as the association clocks 40. On the entourage of the team were Chairperson, Central Planning Committee for the anniversary, Alhaja Sururat Oyero, and other members of the association. Meanwhile, the Oyo Zone of the Federation of Muslim Women's Associations in Nigeria, Form 1, also visited Nigerian Correctional Service, Abolongo Custodial Center, Oyo, where some items were donated to the inmates. It was a historic homecoming for an ambassador of the Universal Peace Federation and Indigene of Ibadan, Captain Olatunji Okedeyi, who returned to the Asian city after completing a remarkable motorcycle expedition from London, United Kingdom, to Nigeria. Captain Okedeyi was received by the Olubadan of Ibadan land and Chairman Oyo State Council of Obas and Chiefs, Oba Rashidi Ladoja, at his palace, Okearemo, Ibadan. Oluwakayode Banjo reports on the colourful reception from the Ibadan toll gate to the Olubadan Palace. His report.
Traveling through 13 countries, Captain Olatunji Emmanuel Okedeyi rode from London in the United Kingdom through France, Spain, Morocco, Mauritania, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, and the Republic of Benin before arriving in Lagos on Tuesday. He subsequently proceeded to his hometown, Ibadan, where fellow motorcyclists accorded him a warm welcome at the Ibadan toll gate before accompanying him in a convoy to the Olubadan Palace at Okearemo. At a brave ceremony, the Olubadan Oba Rashidi Ladoja commended Captain Okedeyi for the remarkable feat, describing the expedition as one that had further projected the rich heritage and global identity of Ibadan. The monarch recalled his days at Ibadan Boys High School and the exploits of renowned Nigerian traveler Olabisi Ajala, whose motorcycle journeys across Asia, Africa, and Oceania captured international attention between 1957 and 1963, noting that Captain Okedeyi had rekindled that spirit of courage, adventure, and patriotism. In his remarks, the President General of the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes (CCII), Chief Ajeniyi Ajewole, described Captain Okedeyi as a worthy ambassador of Ibadan land, whose accomplishment had brought pride and honor to the city. Speaking on the expedition, Captain Okedeyi said the 25-day journey, covering more than 12,000 kilometers, was marked by both smooth and challenging moments. He explained that the expedition formed part of a global campaign to raise awareness about polio and mobilize support for its eradication.
I would say there are quite a bit of challenges as well along the route, especially in the desert area where you have about 2,000 kilometers thereabout. The wind was really tough, and the wind kept blowing for 3 days, trying to take the bike off my hand, so which was the challenging stuff for me. And also the weather as well is very hot. Within the desert, you're talking about 50-something degrees. But overall, it was a good outcome in terms of campaigning about polio and which have been able to have conversation around the world.
Captain Okedeyi added that the initiative was undertaken in collaboration with several national and international organizations, including Rotary International, of which he is a member. Also speaking, the project coordinator, Rotarian Tolu Daramola, said modern tracking technology was deployed throughout the expedition, enabling the team to monitor Captain Okedeyi's progress from London to Nigeria.
Before the trip started, we had some softwares, and what we had done was he had a GPS installed. So when he's moving, I could monitor where he was at any point in time. And that worked for us for a long time till we got into Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau experience was a nightmare, not just for him, but for me as well. Because for the first time, we lost connection for 3 straight hours. Technology was very helpful.
Highlights of the homecoming included a donation of £1,000 by the Olubadan to support the fundraising campaign, as well as a grand reception organized by the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes (CCII) in honor of Captain Olatunji Emmanuel Okedeyi. From Ibadan, Oluwakayode Banjo, Radio Nigeria.
Ahead of August 15 governorship election in Osun State, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has presented the electronic register of voters to all registered political parties in the state. In the register, 2,239,233 registered voters are expected to participate in the election across the 30 local government areas in the area office Mudakeke. While presenting the registrar at the INEC headquarters Oshogbo, the resident electoral commissioner, Rec. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Babalola, said presentation of voter register remains one of the statutory activities of the commission aimed at ensuring transparency and fair to all the political parties. The Rec urged all the registered parties to intensify voter mobilization that would enable eligible voters to participate in the election. Former Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Chief Akim Azim Gbolarumi, has unveiled his blueprint for the development of the state as he declared his intention to contest the 2027 governorship election on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Chief Bola Rumi said his decision was driven by a desire to provide responsive leadership that would address the yearnings of the people through good governance, economic growth, and improved social services. He identified agriculture, education, healthcare, infrastructure, youth empowerment, security, and job creation as major areas of focus in his development agenda for your state. The former deputy governor pledged to run an inclusive administration that would prioritize transparency, accountability, and the welfare of the people if elected. Chief Bola Rumi appealed to the people of Oyo State to support his aspiration, saying their collective mandate would enable him to deliver purposeful leadership and sustainable development across the state. He also called on political stakeholders, community leaders, youths, and other residents to join his movement towards building a more prosperous, peaceful, and united Oyo State.
Commissioner of Police at Edo State Command, Mr. Monday Agbonika, says there will be a restriction of movement across the state from 12 midnight to 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday to ensure the peaceful, orderly, and secure conduct of the local government council elections. Mr. Agbonika said the restriction was part of comprehensive security measures put in place by the command in collaboration with other security agencies to ensure a peaceful electoral process, protect voters, electoral materials, sensitive materials, and prevent any breakdown of law and order. He said vehicular and human movement within the state would exempt officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), accredited election observers, duly accredited media personnel, security agencies, and emergency and other essential service providers on election duty. The local government election will be held in over 4,000 polling units across 192 wards of the state, with 12 political parties participating.
The Nigeria Police Force, Oyo State Command, says 2 persons who were abducted by armed kidnappers at Tiro Village, Irawo, Atisbo local government area of Oyo State, have been rescued unhurt through a coordinated security operation. The victims are identified as Alhaji Bushiru Boni and his wife, Alhaja Pitiko, were abducted in the late hours last Saturday, 5th July 2026, when a gang of 5 armed men invaded Tiro Village, firing sporadically into the air before whisking the couple away to an unknown destination. A statement by the Command Public Relations Officer, Mr. Olayinka Anyolade, indicates that upon receiving the distress report, the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command, CP Olugbenga Abimbola, immediately directed a coordinated search and rescue operation involving operatives of the Command, the Amotekun Corps, local vigilantes, and local hunters. During the operation, a Bajaj motorcycle earlier reported stolen was recovered from a nearby bush. The recovered motorcycle, coupled with the deployment of technological leverage, enabled the joint security team to identify the hideout of the hoodlums. Upon sighting the advanced joint security operatives, the kidnappers opened fire, resulting in a fierce gun duel. However, owing to the dense forest terrain and the difficult environment, the hoodlums escaped into the bush with varying degrees of gunshot wounds, abandoning the victims in the process. The victims were rescued unhurt, immediately evacuated to a medical facility for evacuation and necessary treatment, subsequently discharged after being certified to be in stable condition, and have since been reunited with their family. The command calls on members of the public to remain vigilant and report any person seeking unusual medical attention to the nearest police station or security posts.
This as well today, the stories that made the headlines. Governor Fubara has presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the House of Assembly. Edo Police Command has announced the restriction of movement ahead of council election. Still to come, Ghanaian social media influencer faces trial over alleged fraud. Fire claims 28 lives in China.
Thank you for staying tuned. You're still on to the world today, reaching on the Southwestern network of Radio Nigeria as we now move outside the shores of Nigeria for the other stories. The Ghanaian social media influencer known as Abu Trika, whose real name is Frederick Kumi, has been extradited to the United States to face trial for allegedly running a romance scam that had defrauded elderly Americans of over $8 million. Kumi was flown to the United States yesterday and may face up to 20 years in prison if found guilty of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering.
A fire at a shoe factory in the southeastern Chinese city of Xinjiang has killed at least 28 people. China President Xi Jinping said the blaze had caused major casualties, adding those responsible must be held strictly accountable. Xinjiang is in the province of Fujian, is often referred to as China's shoe capital, as it reportedly manufactures 20% of the world's sports shoes.
And talking about sports, France defeated Morocco 2-0 yesterday in the quarterly finals of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Goals from Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele were enough to give the French team a comfortable victory and book their place in the semi-finals. The tournament continues today with quarter-final clash between Spain and Belgium at 8 o'clock in the evening at the Los Angeles Stadium, Inglewood, USA.
Heart of the matter today is on the role of youths in national development as World Population Day is being observed. It is written by Blessing Okare of our News and Current Affairs Department.
World Population Day, observed annually on the 11th of July, highlights the urgency and importance of global population issues. It is a day to raise awareness about the impact of population growth, including its effects on the environment, development, and human rights. This year's theme, realizing the hopes and aspirations of young people today and for the future, focuses on youth rights, reproductive agency, and the economic, social, and health barriers young people face globally. According to the National Youth Policy 2019 to 2023, a youth is considered to be a person from age 18 to 35. Youths are fundamental to the growth and development of any society, as they constitute over 70% of the nation's population of about 230 million people and provide an appreciable percentage of the labor force. There is no gainsaying that the strength of a nation lies in the capabilities and willpower of the youths to support the nation's systems, including administration, politics, science and technology, entertainment, as well as sports. Hence, youths are needed to serve as the lubricants for the wheel of change and development. However, the increase in population puts pressure on the job market, making it highly competitive and contributing to fewer job opportunities. In a nation like Nigeria, with a fast-growing population, unmanaged rapid population growth rate can hinder economic development by straining resources and limiting access to quality social services, thereby exacerbating the challenges facing the youth, who should be a great asset to the nation. According to the Federal Commissioner, National Population Commission (NPC) in Oyo State, Dr. Eyitayo Oyetunji, a large population could both be an asset or liability to development, depending on how well it is managed, as proper management of the economy as a growing population requires good healthcare system, educational policy that encourages girls to remain in school and not forced into early marriages, economic programs targeted at the youths. He suggested that the most effective way to manage rapid population growth was family planning that allows families, especially women, to determine and choose the number and spacing of the children they want and can care for. It is noteworthy that government at all levels are paying more attention to youth development through different programs and policies, such as the introduction of technical and vocational education and training, TVET, the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, which targets digital literacy and technology skills among youths, as well as empowerment and training of youths in agriculture by some state governments. As much as these investments in youth development are laudable, it is necessary to be more proactive in addressing rapid population growth rate for equitable distribution of the nation's resources. To this end, regular demographic data collection is very necessary to set and monitor appropriate development policies. Investing in women and youth through education, healthcare, and skills training enhances their productivity and potential to contribute to the economy. This can unlock their innovative potential and entrepreneurial spirit, leading to the development of new businesses and industries. It therefore behoves the government to promote gender equality and social inclusion, which are essential for sustainable and equitable economic growth.
That script on the role of youths in national development was written by Blessing Okare of our News and Current Affairs Department and read by Emilia Ojemudia.
Let's now join Lilian Ibomo on the entertainment news.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Entertainment Gist for the Week. I'm Lilian Ibomo, aka IJB. Nollywood actress Annie Macaulay, ex-wife of music star Innocent Idibia, is singing the praise of her stylish friend Swanky Jerry, sharing the photos of her and the stylist online to celebrate his birthday. Annie confirmed her love for him, declaring him a man crush and support system. She gushed over how Swanky protects, cares, and loves her, while also appreciating him for all he does, like the late night calls to check up on her, and how she in return stresses him up. Wow, this is beautiful friendship. And we join Annie in wishing Swanky a happy birthday celebration. Nollywood actress Bimpe Akitude has opened up on her failed marriage. Bimpe disclosed that her second pregnancy wasn't even up to 3 months when she started experiencing troubles in her marriage. According to her husband was constantly complaining during her first trimester, practically taunting her that she wasn't the first to get pregnant. Bimpe said she cried during her pregnancy and that God rewarded her with carrying her baby. Oh, God. Oh, if this allegation is true, you no try at all. Oh, yeah, sorry there. Popular music promoter and socialist Sam Larry was reportedly rushed to the hospital last weekend following a ghastly motor accident along the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway in Lagos State. According to reports, Larry's bouncer was said to have died while Larry is currently undergoing treatment. He pointed out that he would be on wheelchair pending the time his treatment ends. We wish him speedy recovery. The soul of the deceased find rest. Amen. And on a sad note, Abimbola Olawiyi, the widow of the late investigative broadcast journalist Kola Olawiyi, has died, bringing another wave of grief to the family that has lived with the loss of one of Nigeria's most celebrated media figure for nearly 2 decades. A great fan of Barbara music, Abimbola Olawiyi's death comes 19 years after the passing of her husband Kola Olawiyi, the pioneering investigative broadcast journalist whose fearless reporting transformed crime and investigative broadcasting in the southwest Nigeria. Fans of her late husband trooped to the social media to mourn her. May God rest her soul and grant the family the strength to bear the irreparable loss. Well, that's where I draw the curtains on this week's edition of Entertainment Gist. Join us next week for another package. On behalf of my producer, Emilia Ojemudia, I'm Lilian Ibomo saying bye.
To end the news on the world today from the stable of Radio Nigeria, there again are the day's top stories. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has presented a proposed budget of 1.854 trillion for the 2026 fiscal year to the Rivers State House of Assembly, describing it as a budget of resilience for growth and development. Commissioner for Police at Edo State Command, Mr. Monday Agbonika, says there will be a restriction of movement across the state from 12 midnight to 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday to ensure the peaceful, orderly and secure conduct of the local government council elections. A Ghanaian social media influencer known as Abutrika, whose real name is Frederick Kumi, has been extradited to the United States to face trial for allegedly running a romance scam that defrauded elderly Americans of over $8 million. A fire at a shoe factory in the southeastern Chinese city of Zhejiang has killed at least 28 people.
Well, that's it on The World Today. Do join us on Monday for a fresh edition of the program. Modukbe Toba edited. Thank you for joining us. My name is Olubukola Enimola. From my colleague
Tobiloba Delano, thank you for staying tuned.